Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good evening, great gentlemen. We have a nice weather today to conduct a meeting.
Good evening.
As we are all informed, some employees in our department are not familiar with the online meeting platforms. The higher ups have instructed us to conduct a training session to help our employees. So, first of all, I will assign each committees with assigned responsibilities so that every person knows who to contact for any specific issues. This would be similar to job scope and guide, and not necessarily all of the requirements need to be executed. First of all, the administration committees. Their duties are to manage protocol, to maintain the event budget, managing food and beverages for catering, overseeing each committee, speakers and papers, building out a detailed agenda and run of shows, and I will personally myself lead this committee. Next, marketing and promotion committees. Creating a promotion schedule, setting up and managing registration, creating an incentive, creating social media, blasting through email and WhatsApp forwarding, and that would be all their duties. And I would like Mr. Azim to lead these committees. Likewise, sponsorship committees, they will do the research potential on sponsors, developing sponsorship levels, securing sponsorships, communicating with sponsor representative, managing sponsor on site, and I want to let Mr. Samuel to lead the sponsorship committees.
Okay.
Subsequently, technical committees, their duties are to source all equipment and systems, managing logistics and setup, scheduling and managing test runs, and day of production and troubleshooting for any issues that occur unexpectedly. And I appoint Mr. Iqbal to lead this committee. Finally, attendee engagement committee, their duty is to develop networking opportunities, planning an ice-breaking session, designing sponsor engagement with attendees throughout pop-up activities, brainstorming ways to surprise and delight attendees along the way, and I'd like Mr. Nazmi to lead this committee. To continue our meeting, I would like Mr. Iqbal to explain to you about the suitable date and objective for the training session.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amirul. So, talking about objective, the first objective will be effective remote working. To help the effective remote working is to help and making sure for employees safely and successfully transition to a remote work environment using online meeting platform such as Webex, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, and more. All of these platforms have their own pros and cons, and it will be explained by our trainer in the one-day seminar session that will be held on Thursday, 17th June 2021. Okay, for the second objective will be the home office setups. Home office setup is crucial because this setup will be our working station for doing our work. Besides, a good setup will be guarantee employees a comfortable working environment. The good setup is including getting a good desk, webcam, headset, an ergonomic chair, finding a comfortable area in their house, and a computer setup that can get a job done. Hence, this can help both in their performance and their health. Speaking of health, our objective also to make sure the employees' physical and mental health always in their best states. It is because the environment situation and the equipment from home are so different compared to office. I am sure our objective can be achieved in this with this training session soon. Okay, thank you, Mr. That's all from me. I pass to Mr. Amirul again.
Thank you, Mr. Iqbal, for the bright ideas. Now, let's continue with Mr. Azim's explanation about the trainers and number of participants.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amirul. As for now, it would be wise if we invite an outside trainer that have the knowledge in performing and demonstrating the software regarding this online meeting room platform. I already had briefly informed and contact the people from Google company to give a talk and demonstration for the seminar. I hope I can get their response before next week to confirm their participant as a trainer in the seminar. Furthermore, regarding the number of the trainer, for now, I plan to have 2 to 3%, but if they send more people, I hope that it would be not more than 5% to do the talk and demonstration for the seminar, because it will be affecting the budget. This trainer will be picked based on their specialty and expertise, such as on the online meeting tools, like what system or application that they should be using, and the type of hardware that would be recommended for this online meeting. But if the trainer had a better approach regarding the seminar, it would be the best option for us. In addition, I already passed down a Google form yesterday regarding the participant for our employees to join the seminar. And after one day, we had a good response. The number is about 34 employees from 2 departments, which is from the admin department and the HR department, which is the human resource, that are willing to join the seminar to increase the knowledge about this online meeting platform. Hopefully, in the next few days, we can increase the number of participants from another 2, possibly department, which is from the finance department and also from the operation department in the seminar. It would be advisable if we can have not more than 100 people of employees, because the more the employees, the harder for the trainer to detect who are the weakest in the group. All right, that's all for me. I will pass back to Mr. AMIRUL. Thank you.
As expected from Mr. Azim, a brilliant idea indeed. Let's proceed with Mr. NAZMI's explanation of itinerary for the training session.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amirul. Now I'm going to explain about our itinerary for the training sessions. The first thing we do in this training session is breakfast for the participants and the trainers at 8 a.m. and at 9 a.m. we are going to start with our first session conducted by, like Mr. Azim said, our first trainer from Google is Mr. Sligma from Software Technical Specialties. He will explain about the introduction to online meeting platform. When he is explaining about the online meeting platforms, the introduction, he will show us about what type of the online meeting platforms is suitable for our companies. And then our next sessions will be explained by our next trainer at around 11 a.m. This trainer will explain about what types of suitable devices that can be used for the participants to use in an online meeting, such as the minimum requirement that the devices needs to have. And I hope that every participant can understand quite clearly about the devices needs, because this is one of the main important things when it comes to online meeting platforms. And at 1 p.m. we are going to have a lunch break and also a prayer break for Muslims to pray. And at 2 p.m. we are going to have our third session, that is an advanced usage of online meeting. This will be explained by our first trainer also. And by understanding this advanced usage of online meeting, the participants can understand about how to sharing the screen perfectly. with having a clear audio and video and without interruptions. And also, participants also can understand about how to giving control to each other when it comes to presentations and talk. Also, the last thing they can do is recording. This is an important part of the online meeting platforms, because when someone lose a track about what people saying, they can go back to the recording and see what are the main key that the person said in the meeting. And the last sessions will be conducted by Mrs. Kaisa from HR Development. Mrs. Kaisa is expert in human relationships, so she understand about how to. She will be guiding the participants how to stay focused on online meeting, such as like having a suitable places, having a places that does not have loud voices, have a clear view on the meeting, and so on. So after this will be the end of our training sessions, and at 5 p.m. this will be the end training sessions. Okay, and I think that's it for the itinerary for our training sessions. Thank you.
Compact yet beautifully explained, Mr. Nazmi. Thank you. How about you, Mr. Samuel? Can you explain more about the funding and budgeting?
Okay. So considering that this is the company's initiative to ensure that, as Mr. Iqbal said, to ensure that our employees can work from home efficiently, we were hoping that the company would provide us some funds for our program. And I do believe, even with our financial problem right now that we're having, a little bit of financial matter that we're having, we might not be fully funded by the companies. So we might look for sponsorship and scour some funds for our employees. That will be the whole point of our funding to the program. And regarding more to the budget, I believe that we needed around allocated around 3,000 ringgit for our trainers. Consider that we may have 2 to 5 trainers, that the digits would be enough for the trainers. And as Mr. Nazmi says, we'll be having breakfast and lunch throughout it. So I'm around 100, estimating around 100 employees that will be joining us. So, and each employees will be around 30 ringgits per person. Therefore, 3,000 would be allocated for just breakfast and lunch. And we also would be preparing the seminar rooms in order to ensure that the program runs smoothly. Therefore, any necessary equipment, such as probably projectors that may not be inside of the seminar rooms, stagings and whatsoever, would be included for 4,000 ringgit for our setup. And last but not least, any sorts of promotions, memos, or papers that will be needed, and small petty stuff that needed to be used by the company in order to advertise the program, 500 ringgit is allocated for Michelle's. So running off by that, we have a total of 10,500 ringgit for the budget itself. I believe that the company will be happy enough to grant us around 6,000 to 7,000 ringgit in order to help us ensure the program runs smoothly. And the rest of them we could look through, as I said, sponsorships and maybe scour some funds from the employer himself. And that is all that I could say for our funding and budget. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel, for very delicate detail of budgeting and funding. That sums up our meeting. Thank you again, gentlemen, for spending your time to attend this meeting. I hope our plan for for this training session will end with triumph. Have a good day.